report back to that area on Monday.
Well, okay, no problem. But I didn't get no email.
Yeah. I'll tell Keisha send it again because some person saying she not getting. So, you know. Naomi, I'll start the recording on my end. Even if I exit something, it is still recorded, so don't worry. The recording will only stop when Caro leave.
Alright, thanks.
Yeah. Alright, Caro, well, I'll log in out, I'll log back in a little while, right? So I've seen you have 4 attendants so far. The link is in the group, so persons know it's time to start the class. I'll send them a reminder. I'll send a reminder in the group as well too, for persons to join the class. Alright, so let me log out and I'll log back in a little while. Naomi or Caro, people might be in the waiting room, so admit them while I'm out now.
Yeah, I'll bring them in.
Okay.
What is that, boy? Alright, good day, everyone. Everybody here, man?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Caro.
Alright, hey. Good day, Mr. Siba. You seen the slides up?
That's it, yeah.
Roger that.
What slide you seeing up right now?
Angles for flange both holes.
Alright, thank you. I had the right one. I just want to make sure. Alright, yes. Ooh. Naomi? Naomi?
Yeah, hello.
Approximately how much people I have on right now?
5.
5 still?
Yeah.
So I might see you from next, or they're coming on quite September.
It looks so.
Hey, girl, is that one, girl?
Cado, we go talk.
All you hiding.
We talk about that.
I'll call you after.
Yeah.
By chance, Kofi wasn't there none on these days?
Yo.
Hey, Kofi must be in no way.
Yeah, Rasta City, what's going on?
And what about Shimi? Shimi was there?
Mr. Kado?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just here. I know here before you come on, I hear Mr. Solomon was talking to apprentices and say, them getting to go back out to work. Is only them for now? What?
Yeah, it's only them for now.
Alright. Okay. So it is. So after today, we have no more classes, anything like it?
Well, they'll contact you with the practical.
Oh, I see. Well, if I any more other class, and we could do one while we waiting to go back. Something now, something.
Well, it's supposed to have interpretation and blueprint level 1.
Yeah. Admin. If I learn any class, admin.
Yeah, I will let you know.
Would.
Once the class running, and we will let you know.
Alright, yeah, man.
I thought I told people come on a little early today, right?
Yeah, I know it's.
I remember.
Yeah, yesterday. I first one to text in the group and say, when I listen in this link, by because like, you're done close to, you're supposed to come in earlier, so.
But when it's 1:15, we'll start the class.
Alright.
Yeah.
little class I always have every day. Now here in Wasa, and then going to go back out to Wasa. Only Wasa, only Wasa. I asked them, so when I say it's only for Wasa, I'm not talking about I asked the donor. So don't tell me it's only for Wasa for the way. So hopefully through the weeks, hopefully it might be yourself. Hopefully. No, nothing. I'm waiting like, because I got a message them. Because if I message them again, they might send back the same email too. Alright. Well, I'll still ask them, right? If it is we get any money at the end, I'll still ask them. Right. Alright. Huh? Yeah, good.
Alright, good day everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
By chance, how many people we have on the system right now?
8.
It is enough.
It
is great. So let's get started with today's presentation. Now, let's just look back at yesterday. Yesterday we spoke about the circumference and why circumference of the circle is important, right? And we could either use one out of the two formula to find circumference. We could use the diameter or we could use the radius, right? When using the diameter, it's pi multiplied by the diameter. When using the radius, it's 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by the radius. Remember we mentioned that the radius is equal to half the diameter, right? So today we will see within the practical some aspect of how this may come into play. So starting off with the practical we're going to look at gasket layout, right? Everyone know what is a gasket? Anybody at all think, well, I don't have an idea what a gasket is?
Yeah, I know.
Alright. So we look at gasket layout. And it says here, pipe flange gaskets or the use of gasket is to provide a leak-tight seal or joint between two matching flange face, right? The key thing in the sentence is the two matching flange face. Example, if you have you cannot line up 150, a 2-inch 150 with a 2-inch 300, right? It's impossible. A 150 have 4 bolt hole, a 300 have 8 bolt hole, right? And don't mind if they might have same amount of bolt hole. As long as the pressure rating different, the bolt hole and then will be further apart, right? So the key thing is two matching flange faces, right? And next way you could look at the matching flange faces, RTJ, which is a ring type joint, and you're going to line it up with a ring space, right? It could have leakage. So they're saying, in order to provide a seal, the gasket must be able to flow or form under bolt compression to fill irregularities in the flange seating face, right? In the flange sealing face. Now, the flange face, the irregularities they're talking about is some of the flange face, you will say, it have a serrated groove. It have some like groove lines on it. And when you tighten down this gasket under the compression, it's supposed to fit in within the groove then and provide a proper seal. Right? So that's the little irregularities, or sometimes, you know, under use and years, the flange might get a little distorted, might get a little pitted, depending on the gasket you have. When you tighten it down, when you compress it, it's supposed to flow or form to fit all these little irregularities. Anything too deep, the flange will leak it. Right? So anything humbugging the pace of the flange too much, deep rust mark, deep pit, right? That is where the rust flake off and it forms this little pit, like sort of potholes, right? Anything too much under pressure, the flange will leak, right? And next thing about the gasket must also withstand high service temperature and corrosive product. So there are various types of gaskets available, right? You have rubber, you have those made out of gasket paper, you have Teflon, right? Then you have the metallic, right? Metallic, you have the spiral wound. And these are designed for different temperature and different service. So you have to know which gasket you're using in terms of what service it's going on perform, what temperature in the line, right? But the engineers now does more or less make that decision and tell you, use this type of gasket. Right? Your job is to install the gasket correctly. Right? Your job in some cases, if we're using gasket paper or gasket material, is to make a gasket to fit the flange. And that is what we'll be looking at today. So part of the practical aspect of valve servicing is the making of gaskets, right? So we're looking at gasket layout, how to lay out gaskets. So gaskets are generally available in the following flange face type. So we have three different types of flange face, and these are the three different gasket arrangements that could be available, right? So we have the full face, right? We have flattering or what we call the raised face, and then after we have the metal ring or the RTJ flange, right? Full face gasket. These cover the full face of the flange area, including the bolt hole. So once you have to make a full face gasket, you have to make this gasket to cover the entire area of the flange, including the bolt holes. Flat ring or raised face gasket. These cover only the sealing area of the flange raised face, right? So a raised face gasket is more like a donut, right? It will only cover the raised face and the flange. It wouldn't cover the bolt hole. It have no need to cover the bolt hole, right? Metallic ring or ring type joint gasket. These fit between U-shaped machine groove in the flange face, right? So once you see a flange face have this machine groove, right? A U-shape, oval shape, if you want to call it like that. You need an RTJ gasket, and that's a metal gasket. We don't make that gasket. That gasket you have to buy, right? And the gasket when you're buying the gasket, they have certain reading on it. You say, you might have a R17, right? That tell you what material it make out of the temperature and so on. Any questions so far? Everybody understand the different type of flange face, the different type of flange arrangement?
Mr. Kado,
Yes, sir.
yeah, the flange face,
Yeah.
not flange, but the gasket layout. And gasket layout could also be metal also. Well, I mean for the metallic ring, but like down in Demas, we saw it does have the metal ones instead of paper ones. That is,
Alright. Yeah, the metal gasket is ready made. We don't cut the metal gasket, right? That's a ready made gasket.
already made.
Right? Yeah, you're buying that, right?
Alright.
The one that we will cut or we have to lay out is the paper type. Now you don't get paper type ready made to it, but sometimes you just get a large sheet. Normally does be like let me use those order, we just order I think 4x8.
Yeah.
4 feet by 8 feet.
Yeah, kind of thick, kind of paper, kind of
It have different thickness.
Oh.
Right, depending on which application you're going to apply to. So you might have some of the sheet could be like let's see, it have 1/16, I believe is the thinness. I see. So you might get 16, you get sheet at 8, you get quarter, you know.
Yeah.
So it go is it like that? It have different thickness.
Alright.
It all depends on the application, temperature, the surface, the pressure in the line. Right? So you're gonna know which sheet to use.
Okay.
So when we're talking about gasket layout, we're talking about the paper gasket as we just normally call them. Right? So that is what we're going to lay out, and that is what you'll be laying out within the practical aspect. Right? So we're looking at gasket layout. So they say gasket can be purchased either ready-made or in large material sheet that needs to be cut to suit that particular flange face. See, same thing I'm telling you? So it's either you have a ready-made gasket like the metal one you're describing, or you have these large sheets and you have to cut the gasket to suit the flange face now. They say the fabrication of gasket using sheet material is usually accomplished by either, and they give you two methods here. You have a method they call trace and tap method, right? And then you have layout and cut method. And we'll be looking at the two methods today. Gasket layout, trace and tap method. When using the trace and tap method of gasket fabrication, the sheet of the gasket material is placed over the flange face requiring the gasket. A soft hammer is used to lightly tap the gasket material around the outside diameter and inside diameter of the flange. Bolt holes are formed in the gasket material by using the pin end of the ball peen hammer. Note, care must be taken not to damage the flange face. If the gasket material is too thick for the tap method, the hammer may be used to trace the needed pattern onto the gasket. The pattern could then be cut using scissors or utility knife, and gasket hole punch can be used to cut the holes. Right? More or less straightforward. Now, if you reflect back when we was doing the tools on Tuesday, we spoke about these two hammers, right? We spoke about a saw face hammer, right? And I tell you could also use a mallet, because a mallet is made out of, the whole entire head is made out of wood, right? But then you have this Teflon material saw face hammer. And we have the ball peen hammer, right? They also mention the gasket punch. So what we want to do with this exercise we put in the gasket material. Well, we wouldn't leave the material big and long like this. If you know you're covering an area, say like 6 inches by 6 inches, you could cut your gasket material at least 7 inch by 7 inch or 8 inch by 8 inch. So when you rest it on top of the flange face, you won't have too much excess. And you see now with the thin material, when you bend it too much, they'll start to tear. So you don't want them tear. So you want to minimize the wastage, right? If you rest the whole sheet, next thing you tear somewhere in the middle, and you come like your waste piece of the material. It's better you cut it a little bigger and you take your time and you form it. Now, if you look at the method, it's a trace and tap method, right? And they mention also if the material is thick, right? You use the hammer just to trace it. Now, how we tracing that is, it come like, you know, when you're small, you used to rest a piece of paper on top of 25 cents and you kind of shade it with your pencil and you see it print out. Something similar. But what we'll be doing when we rest the gasket material on the face of the gasket, we taking the hammer and pass around the edge of the face, the outside and the inside. We pass it a number of times. If it's a thin material, after you pass it a couple times, it'll start to cut for itself, right? And form, right? So you pass it in the inside, it will cut. You pass it to the outside, you just press. Use an even pressure and you just drag it around. Nothing too forceful, right? So you'll get it a cut. And afterwards, you use the pin end of the ball pin hammer, right? So the pin end is this rounded end, right? You place it by the bolt hole and you tap it lightly. And the bolt hole will cut out for itself by that light tap. That depends on the thickness of the material. Now, if the material is too thick, what will happen? You'll just trace it. So you just take the hammer and pass it along the edge of the material a number of times, which will mark the gasket. It will make an imprint on the gasket paper, right? The inside, the outside. You pass it by the holes too. And you get imprint at that flange. So you take it off, you use a scissors. I don't like the utility knife that much, you know. You gotta be a real skill with the knife, right? With the utility knife. But you could use a scissors, you could use a shears, right? And you cut out the outline, and then you use the gasket punch. You place the gasket on a piece of wood, right? A nice flat piece of board. And you use the hammer, the flat end of the ball pin hammer, you rest your punch, you select the punch to suit the hole, but you have an impression of the hole, and you hammer it up. And that will make your gasket, right? That is the trace and tap method. Any questions? Everybody hearing me clear?
Yeah.
Mm.
Any questions so far? Okay, yes, no. So moving on. Right? So we have a little video here showing the trace and tap method. All right, any questions? Everybody understand that? Was clear? It was easy? Looks simple enough?
Yeah, man.
Now, remember what we're saying. If you look, there's a thin material you have there, right? Anything too thick, which is when you're going to use too much force, which might dent the flange, you cannot use that tap method, right? The most you could do is take the hammer to make an impression on the gasket, and then you use the scissors and you cut it out. Everybody understand that, right? Because if the material too thick, you'll have to use too much force to tap, and you could distort the flange. Remember, it's a flat face flange, right? You don't want to put no sort of sinks on this flat face. Right? Everybody understand that, right?
Yes.
All right. So we're moving on. We're looking at the gasket layout, layout and cut method, right? So it's saying here, pattern for gasket can be laid out directly onto the material sheet by using a compass, divider, or gasket cutter. And that's 3 tools we mentioned also when we did tools and equipment for the valve servicing, right? So you could either use the compass, you could use a divider, which will leave a scratch mark or impression where you have to cut. Or you could use the gasket cutter, and while you're marking your circle, you cut one time with the gasket cutter. So it's saying, you know, in order to lay out the gasket, the internal diameter and the outside diameter of the gasket must be determined. So when you're laying on this gasket, you must know the inside and outside diameter. Now, for the raised face, most of the charts you have with flange and bolts and things, most of the books that give you the inside and outside diameter for the raised face, right? But if you don't have it, you could also measure it. So the tool coming into play, or a steel ruler is coming into play, right? So it's giving you some pointers now. You see the internal diameter of the gasket should equal the outside diameter of the pipe for full face and raised face flange. Right? So if it's a 4-inch flange, the internal diameter must be equivalent to that 4 inches. That is understood? That is the internal diameter of your gasket. It must equal to the outside diameter of the pipe. Right?
Yeah.
And the next point that I give here now, they say the outside diameter for full face gasket equal to the outside diameter of the flange, right? This, the demonstration we saw, if I should go back, right? That is a full face gasket. So what I'm saying, the outside diameter must equal to the outside diameter of the flange for a full face, right? Gasket. And that is only sensible, because remember we have to make the bolt hole for the full face gasket. But with the raised face now, we don't need a bolt hole. A raised face gasket will look just like what you see here in the picture, right? Just 2 circles, right? You draw 2 circles, the inside and you draw the outside, and you cut them, right? So you're saying, you know, the outside diameter of raised face flange should equal to the diameter extending across the inside edge of the bolt hole. Across the inside edge of the bolt hole. Let's see if I get a flange. Right. So what in other words, if we make a raised face, this is just a bare example, simple example here. What I'm telling you that the outside or the inside diameter of these bolt holes, that is the total distance, that is the total outside for your raised face gasket. The inside will equal to the outside diameter of the pipe, right? Or, as they say, if you have a flange, you can measure the inside diameter of the flange. But when you're doing the raised face, you're taking it from the edge of the bolt to the opposite bolt edge, and you'll get the width. Now, normally when you're putting, if you're bolting up a flange, right? When you're bolting up a flange, you let the two flanges meet together, come close as possible, right? You catch the bolts to the bottom of the flange. You're not running it up. You're just sliding them in and hand tighten. Make sure it have a space between the flange, and you drop in your gasket. That is for the raised face flange. When you drop in the gasket now, the gasket does go and rest on the bolts that you put into the bottom. Then you slide in the rest of bolts around it, right? And that ensures that that gasket will cover the entire raised face at that particular flange. Anytime you drop in a gasket, you're bolting up a raised face flange, and you put in the bottom bolts, and you slide in the gasket, and you realize that, wait this gasket is covering the entire face of the flange. That is the wrong gasket. Take out that gasket. Right? Because 99% of the time, you drop in your raised face gasket, it has covered the entire face of the flange. And the bolt hole on the bottom that's supported. Right? Everybody understand? Everybody understand what I'm trying to say? Everybody have a picture in the mind?
Mr. Kado, one question I want to ask. You said that in the slide from before, not the slide, right? The slide showing you the bolt hole. You say from the edge of the bolt hole. Now, from which edge? Because from the flange, from the outer flange circle, from where the bolt hole starts where the next bolt hole end. That we're talking about, the distance.
Right. Let's go ahead and read and say, yeah, across the inside edge of the bolt holes. Right. Now, what happening with this joint? Remember, this is just a replica of our flange here. Normally, between the bolts and the edge of the inside diameter, it have a gap like for your raised face. So what we just normally do when we lay out for the raised face, we measure the inside diameter of the flange here. This inside portion of the flange. Right? You get our measurement. Let me just say that measurement is 10. Right? So we know that we open it, we compass at least 2.5. So when we scribe, we will get the 10. Right? And when we measure here now, when we measure from the outside, let me see here, from the inside to the inside here, are these bolt holes, you get like 15. Right? So that means you're opening your compass 7.5 and you're scribing it. So now you'll get this donut shape. Oh. You'll get the same donut shape here, or this shape. Right? And that is for the raised face flange. Now, say for instance, we are right. Okay. This flange face, you're seeing a better example in this flange face here. This is the inside diameter. Everybody with me? Everybody seeing it?
Yeah.
Right. So this is the inside diameter of the flange, right? So you take a note of whatever the inside diameter is. Now, when you're going to lay out for the bolt hole now, for the raised face, to cover the raised face, you're taking from the edge here, the inside edge of this bolt hole, and you're going to the opposite one, inside edge. and you're laying out that same diameter. So let me say this first inside flange diameter was 10. So when we open we compass, we open we compass 5. So when we draw, we get a diameter 10, right? And when we measure from the inside edge of this bolt hole to the inside edge of the next bolt hole directly opposite, we get 20. So we know we open we compass and we certainly compass at 10. So when we scribe, we will get the diameter as 20. And we cut these two circles out. 1, 2. And it's easy as that. Everybody get the idea?
Hello.
Everybody heard the example? But
Wow.
as I said, this is just our awareness. So that when you reach in the shop, right? When you reach in the shop and actually doing it, it will come easier for you. It will come more natural. Because you already saw the examples, right? As I said, it had the link. So when you get the presentation, you have a link. You could open the link and see the example on how to lay it out. So when we reach in the shop, it's less time we had to take. You could watch me do one, and you'll do the others. Right? So each individual will make a gasket for this time. Any questions? Right, so we're moving on. So we're looking at bolt hole layout, right? How we laying out the bolt hole. When using sheet gasket material to fabricate full face gasket, the bolt hole must be laid out and cut. Now listen, you're only laying out the bolt hole for full face gasket, right? Most of the time in the industry, we use raised face gasket. Once we're using the raised face gasket, we're using this method. Just drawing the two circles, and we cut out the inside, we cut out the outside. That is the gasket there. But when you're talking about full face gasket, you have to lay out for the bolt hole also. They tell you now. This is done by first drawing the center circumference of the bolt hole around the gasket. What I mean by the center circumference of the bolt hole, this is what I mean here. So, beside drawing your inside diameter and your outside diameter, they tell you lay out a center diameter for the bolt hole. Right? You want to know an easy way to get center diameter of the bolt hole? The easiest way to get center diameter, everybody seeing the cursor? Feedback, you seeing the cursor?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, seen it.
Right. You take a measurement from the inside edge of this bolt hole straight to the outside of the bolt hole. And that measurement you get, when you divide that measurement, you get in the direct center of your bolt hole. I went too fast? All you understand what I tell you to do?
Yeah.
Repeat that.
Yeah, the tool you're using is a protractor, right? That's right.
Yeah, but forget the tool for now. I'm showing you how you're getting this measurement here to lay out the center of the bolt hole. Right? This is just to make sure that you end up directly center. Right? Beside the division line, you must know the exact center of this bolt hole, you know, for the full face gasket. Remember, this is not the trace and tap method, right? This is the method where you lay out your gasket and you're cutting it for yourself. So what you're doing to get this measurement, right? Mackenzie, follow me now. You're taking this edge of the bolt hole from one edge of the bolt hole and you go to so you take the inside edge and you measure straight to the outside edge, right? And that will give you that measurement. When you lay it out with your compass, that giving you direct center to center at the bolt hole. Only
From
seeing
the
it.
center of the flange piece.
Right. Now listen, you're taking from the edge. If you want, let me just say, call it a measurement, right?
Yeah.
Let me just say here is 22, right?
Right.
You can just estimate from the center of this bolt to the center of this bolt and say that 22, you know. The best way.
Okay.
The
All
best
right.
way, the best way to get that is you take your measuring tape or your ruler and you stay from the inside of this bolt hole.
The side of one to the side of the next one.
To the outside of the next one.
All right. Cool.
And you'll get your 22. And that
Right,
means
nice.
we open with compass 11. Right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know everybody will understand it. Siba, you understand what I'm saying there? That's silent. Right? But Mackenzie, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, from the inside of one bolt tool and you're going straight to the opposite one and you're taking from the outside of that one.
Right. And that measurement you get, when you lay it out, will give you the exact center.
All right.
Right? It's just a more accurate, because you know you could take your tape and say, well, this is the center here and that is the center there, and you could estimate and it could be wrong. It could be a little off. Yeah, it could be off a little. But with this method, right, you're dead on. Right? So you have to lay out the bolt hole, right? And they're giving you the steps here now. So they say, this is done by first drawing the center circumference of the bolt hole around the gasket. And I'll show you that just now. The location of the bolt hole along the circumference line is then determined by using the angle method. The angle method. And this is the angle method to show you here now. Right? This is the angle method. Now, for those who have knowledge on technical drawing, you do it in school, right? If you look at the reading here, they say layout angle or degree method. So it's either you could divide this into 8 using your compass, or you could use a protractor and find the angles for the bolt hole. Only understand that? I ain't get no feedback. No internet drop?
Somewhat else.
Right? So you could lay out, you could use your compass and lay out 45 degrees, or you could use a protractor and lay out every 45 degrees. That will divide it into 8, right? Now, to have a chart, we'll tell you if it's 8, each bolt hole then, each degree will be 45 degrees, right? Now, mind you, we're going back. Yesterday I told you, before you even start to do your layout, you take a square, you rest it on your gasket paper, and you put a center line, right? You just draw a center line across the gasket paper, and then after, you use the same square and you project a line up, you project a line down. So you have a dead center point you're going and place to open your compass now, right? All with me?
Yeah.
Right. Now, if when we do this, say like if it's a 2-inch 150-pound flange, which is only 4 bolt holes, right? We don't have to divide nothing again. Once we draw the center line here, we get in the bolt hole line in here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Or if you want to make sure, you could take your protractor. This here is reading 180 degrees. A straight line is 180, right? So on the 180, you have a marking 180. Direct on the 90, you'll have a bolt hole. Direct on the 90, you'll have a bolt hole, right? When you're dividing it into 8, what we just normally do, You take your compass and you stay at that point and you bisect in the air and you come at this point and you cut it and you draw it back to the center line and you divide your 90 there into 45 degrees. Right? I believe everybody knows how to divide a 90 into a 45 degree. When we was doing the 3-piece return bend, we was doing that. At least for those who in Wassa, they now knew that earlier this year. Right? So you divide, you bisect the 90, you get a 45 degree. You bisect this 90, you get 45. Bisect this 90 down here, you get 45. Bisect, you get 45. That is laying out using the compass or the divider method. But you don't need all that if you have a protractor. A protractor, you just go, you pull your 45 degree, 45 degree. Right? Spin it around, you get your 45 degree, 45 degree. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Everybody understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, look at the chart. What this chart is saying now, if we have 360 degrees, right, which is the total degree in a circle, and say for instance, your flange have 4 holes, you just take your 360 degrees and you divide it by 4. So you get each bolt hole supposed to go at a 90 degree from each other. This from here to there is 90 degree from each other. Here to there, 90 degree from each other. There to 90 degree. Here to 90 degree. Right?
Mr. Kado, that was the thing we divide by 4. That is just like we was telling me yesterday with the 113.
Something similar to that.
Alright, good. Okay.
Right? So whatever your circle is, the 360 degree. Now, what happened with the yesterday, the 113, is that this entire circle, the outside diameter was 103 degree, right? Was 103 millimeter. Let me say that. So we point from here to there, when you divide that 113 was 113. Divide 113 into 4, right? The distance you'll be getting is from this point to that point. From this point here to that point there. From this point here to that point. Now, the only reason you will use that method, say for instance, you have this done cut and you have to lay out your bolt hole, right? You don't have no place to put your center. You just have like for the raised face done cut out, and you have to lay out, hey, how far put in my bolt holes, right? So to establish that, now we have 2 methods. You have a next method if you could do technical drawing good. You make like a sector. Just mark a sector here or a line from any point, any inside touching the next inside here, and do one opposite. And you bisect them lines, you're supposed to get direct center here, circle. Right? Besides if you know technical drawing, if you're that inclined. Right? But if you don't, because why I just mentioned it, I know during the COVID season, I had 2 past trainees by me. One does work Demos direct, and he told me, he said, sir, the Demos exam get more hard. I say, how? The boy, I go to do the exam, the time I lay out the bolt hole of a gasket. And how I doing that? And you have to draw it on the table and show them, right? So, everything I'm teaching, we going through, it have relevance. Even though you might never make a gasket, you might shock to know you going and do an exam and they tell you, boy, draw and show me how you're laying out for a full face gasket. Right? And the key thing them looking at, really and truly, is if you can really divide a circle into the amount of parts, right? So with the chart here now, they're saying here, 4 bolt hole 90, 8 bolt hole is 45, 12 bolt hole each will be 30 degree, right? 16 bolt hole each will be 22.5 degree. Now, mind you, if you take 360 and you divide it by 16, which is 360 is the distance around a circle, and you divide it by 16, you're getting 22.5. So you know each angle formation will be 22.5 if it's a 16 hole flange. All you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah, ask the question.
I had observed some fellas laying out some bolt holes. Same kind of thing, but they was doing it for I think it was a blind flange they was cutting out. Right?
Yeah.
They didn't have no protractor. In a case like that, how because to me it looked like they was doing trial and error, right? They was using the not serious thing, you laughing by serious thing. But I want to believe it had a method to their madness because they opening the divider and they was going around checking, they're walking it around the outside of the circle. Right? So they move one side, then they move next side, they move one side, they move the next side. And they're doing it, trying to adjust the measurement to make sure that where it starts, they fall back exactly and eventually they get it. But I want to believe it have a simpler and a faster way to do that, even if you don't have a protractor. I don't know if you know it.
What I had using? What I was
What
using?
you mean? What they had as a square, they had the chalk and everything. They had the square.
And the compass?
Yeah, the divider.
The divider. Well, it's easy. Yeah. It's easy with the divider.
And they had a tape too.
Right.
So,
now, here what you're doing with the divider. Right? The same 360. Right? As we say, you get your 360. If you look here now, they say the bolt holes are determined by dividing 360 degrees of the complete circle by the number of bolts in the flange. So if you know, for instance, that flange carrying 8 bolts, right? It's really, you see, they don't have the knowledge of technical drawing. So they go use that method they're using, right? That trial and error method, right? But if they have the knowledge of technical drawing, all you have to do, you draw a circle just like this here. This, you see the cursor passing, right? So first thing you lay out the inside. So let me start from scratch. You draw 4, make sure they're 90 degrees to each other. So you take your square, you draw a straight line across. Then you flip the square and you project the L up, you project the L down, still using the straight line. So you use it as a compass. So you have a starting there, right? You take your divider with your compass and you scribe the inside diameter of the circle. Right? So if the inside diameter is 10, you open it 5, you scribe. You take the measurement of the existing bolt hole where it have. Because you want to find where the center marking for them bolt hole, if so. Right? And you lay out that. So let me say we get 15 here. So we go open 7.5 and we draw this. We're not cutting this, eh? This is just we center marking for the bolt hole. And then we take the outside diameter. So for the outside diameter, we get 20. So we open the compass 10 and we scribe. So we have that. We have the circle. Now what we doing now, if it's 8 bolt hole in carrying, you see which by the cursor is here? At this point?
Yeah.
Right. From that point, your compass is from the center to that. You see that same width from the center here to the end here where you have your compass open? You see what I'm showing
Yeah.
you? Right. So that come like the radius of the big circle, right? So you're using that here, you're staying at this point, and you scribe. You're just cutting the air. Wow. And you come to the top here, at this point here, you're 90-degree here. You leave it at that, you're leaving that same with it, and you scribe here. Wow, you're cutting the air. You do the same thing from here, and you come here. You come from this point, cut, stay at this point, cut. Stay at this point, cut. Stay at that point here, cut. And you join them now. You join the line straight across where you cut, straight across where you cut. Your 4 bolts, your 4 now divide into 8. You with me?
Yeah, bisect all the 4 on them.
You right? Now, for instance, we're going back to what you say, for instance, now bolt hole are added in quadrants of 4. Now you might have a bolt hole, as I say, while we are working Samsung plant, they had a plant with a 5 bolt hole. We shocked. They say, can this plant have 5 bolt hole? I say, oh, let's go for this. They say, yes, this plant have 5 bolt hole. How we paying off that? Stunned. But you know, if it's 5 bolt hole, you have to put it up 1 whole center.
1 whole center on top or 1 whole center in the bottom?
Eh?
1 whole center to the top or 1 whole center to the bottom?
You have to see where it's bolted up to know how you're putting it. Right? Because if you just guess and say, boy, we put it to the top, and next thing the 1 whole center to the bottom, you still end up in problem. Right? But yeah, we're going on with that now. When we call the QC, say, boy, that flange, Petrotrin not accepting that because we are building the plan inside Petrotrin. You say Petrotrin not accepting that. We don't go by API standard, by American standard, right? An American standard telling you now, your flange had to be added in quadrants of 4. So send for the main QC. When he watch at the flange, he say, we don't accept this flange, you know? We want to bring this Japanese made flange. We don't want that. Right? So they had to change the flange. Right? So you're more or less you're 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 36, and so on. Right? Now if a flange, right, at 36, have 36 holes, each hole is 10 degrees apart. Right? Now, what did I say? You might say, well, boy, how we getting that 10 degree? How we going to bisect that with the protractor? You don't have to fight up that with the protractor. You don't have to fight that 10 degree with the protractor. See how you're doing now? You're using maths now, right? You're using maths. Whatever, say, for instance, the circumference, when you check it, was, let me just say 360 to make it easy, right? It was 360. And we know that, hey, it has 36 holes. Whatever we get, that 360 be divided by 36. And that will now tell you that each hole is 10 millimeters or 10 inches apart. You understand what I'm saying? So once you have a soft tape, or the wraparound, you know the wraparound that are the inches mark. You started to the point here and you mark with your 10, you scribe your 10 inch, you open your divider now on that same marking, that same 10 inch marking. So say for instance we open the divider from the start point to here, we 10 inch, and we coming right around now. Scribe, 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 scribe. And you'll end up with 36 and you should end up right where you start. That is what I was trying to do. And Mr. McKenzie? That is what the individual and them was trying to do.
Yeah. Well, I
right?
now realize that as a crocodile.
Right. But you see now, some people, they don't work the maths, right? Some people ain't working the maths good. So, say for instance, if they measure in inches, the best way, the most accurate way you could do that with the divider is to convert it to millimeters, you know. Because millimeters are more closer marking than inches. But still, you could get here, you could get like, say you get 9.5 millimeters, right? Back and I'll start, because you must, if you don't open that direct and you're coming wrong, when you reach here, you might be a slicing off, so you have to go back and readjust it. So that's what I was doing, right? It's not to say like I have a vernier caliper will give you the fine increments at the millimeter. Remember, if we get 9.5 millimeter, remember we guessing, we estimating that is half there, you know. So when you scribe, you can still end up by a slight thing and say, all right, let me readjust it again, right? So sometimes they know what they're doing, but the maths are a little off. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hence the reason why we had was to teach finding the circumference of a circle. You understand why we teach that now? And how it come into play? So if you don't have this protractor, or say for instance, you don't really have a good divider. You know some of them divider is shaky as a mark, so the marking wrong. You could always use maths now and check how much you're supposed to get in. Right? So what I was telling you yesterday, whatever you get for the circumference, which is the distance around the circle, you divide that by 360, you will get 1 degree. And when you multiply that by how much degree you want, say for instance, you want 22 degrees, right? And you know that, hey, I have a calculator right here, right? If all have all the calculator by all you just get it and let me just go through this quick, right? And then move on. Let me just tell me when all you get about 2-3 people, if you have your phone have a calculator.
Hey, that's all, let me get mine.
Yeah. Let me just show you an example of what I'm talking about. All you with me? All you have all the calculator?
Yeah.
All right. So let me just say we measure the outside of this here, the outside diameter, and we get 20 inches. We converting it to millimeters, so you'll be more accurate. So just put on 20 on your calculator, and you multiply it by 25.4. How much you have? 20 multiplied by 25.4, and you get how much?
508.
508. Everybody get that?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you follow me. We just go to the chart here now. So this 508 we get.
Okay, I get 500.
Eh? What is that?
I get 508 too.
Right. So that 508 we get is the distance around here, around the circle, is 508, right? And say for instance, we know that it have been 12 holes. Now listen, don't put nothing yet. So here we doing 12 volts go equal to 30 degrees. We don't have a protractor. Here we doing it now. You see that 508 you have there? Find how much 1 degree is. So to find how much 1 degree is, you're taking 508 and you divide it by 360. And how much you get? Hold on. The internet drop. Hello?
1.41.
1.411, yes, 1.41. Now that 1.41 is equivalent to 1 degree, but we marking it to be 30 degrees. So you see that answer you get multiplied by 30. How much you have now?
42.3.
42.3. All right with me? So when you go from this point now, and we take tape, and we measure with 42. Remember, we had to estimate with 0.3 now, right? When we measure with 42.3, we put in our marking right there, right? We take the divider, and we stay from this point to the new marking we get, and we coming around with circle. So this one will be number 1 mark. We come in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? And we're supposed to end up at this point. Follow with me?
Yes.
And that is how you work it out. So that is why I say everything you're doing in terms of fabricating, in terms of pipe fitting, you have to do apply maths, right? You have to do apply maths there. The maths is hard, and the maths nice. And when you start to do it like that, you go have a kind of appreciation for maths in terms of certain things where you're learning in secondary school. You tell yourself, boy, what are you teaching me that for? You never have to use that. Certain thing I learn in technical drawing, and certain thing I learn in math. I remember we telling Miss in technical drawing that time, Miss, what are you doing that for? You never have to use that. And then I come and I started do fabricating. And that same development of a pattern where I say I'll never have to use. I have to use it. Because not all the time you might lay out something on a pipe, you might do a development, cut it out on a paper, wrap it around the pipe to get that same thing instead of having to lay it out on the pipe. So everything that's come into play, right? Thing like trigonometry, you say, well, I'll never have to do that. And then after you start to do rope, or you start to do pipe fitting, you need it now. Because the elbow don't bend up. What the elbow doing? The elbow rolling off so much degree. So you gotta be able to calculate that. right? So it's something with the beauty. It has certain things. It's the beauty in maths. Now I could only do construction maths, right? But I'm not like Mr. Mackenzie, right?
Boy, not me, boy. I do maths 5 times before I pass it, you know. Oh,
Yeah, man, at least you pass it good, right? You know you're sure you can do it, right? So we going on. So the method is telling you, they say the bolt hole layout angle method, you could use a divider, or you could calculate it, or you could draw it, you could use technical drawing and drawing, right? So this example, a flange with 8 bolts will have the angle between them, or between the bolts, will have 45 degrees, right? How you get that? To show you here. 360 divided by 8. By the number of bolt holes, it will tell you how much degree you're using, right? The protractor compass can then be used to lay out the angle, right? A protractor or compass could then be used to lay out the angle once you reach that point. And we have a video here where we watch the video.
Welcome to the All-Pax gasket cutting system. This ingenious system gives you the right size gasket for almost any job at hand. Whether you work in an environment like this, or this, or this. With the All-Pax gasket cutting system, you can easily and quickly cut even the most complex gaskets, from less than an inch up to 60 inches in diameter. All-Pax is the original gasket cutting system. And when we talk about the All-Pax system, we're really talking about two different products. The All-Pax extension gasket cutter, which is a compass-style blade cutter, and All-Pax hollow punches, a clean cutting punch system for smaller holes from an 1/8 inch up to 2 inches in diameter. We'll start with the All-Pax extension gasket cutter. In this simple demonstration, I'll show the parts of the tool. I'll show you how to make accurate cuts and give you some tips that will have you using the tool and cutting gaskets in no time. These are the components of the system. You have the main cutter block assembly. There are 3 pivot post bolts, called pivot posts, for different diameter cuts. Here are 2 pins, one for thick gasket material and one for thinner stock. These are extension bars. This is the piercing tool to mark the center of the cut. This is the cutting board, and this is the cutting knob to assist in making small diameter cuts. Since this is a complete system, you'll also get a screwdriver for blade adjustment, blades, and a storage case to protect the cutter and keep all the components together. Let me show you the main cutter block assembly. Just pick it up like this. The indents fit comfortably in your hand. This slot down the center of the tool is for the pivot posts. I'll show you those in a moment. On the end, you've got a retaining plate with 2 screws to hold the blade. On the bottom, you'll see 2 different scales. The upper scale. This one goes from 0 to 12 down the length of the tool, for cuts up through 12 inches. Most of the time, you use this scale. You'll use it for cutting material up to 12 inches in diameter, and with the extension bars. The smaller scale on the other side is only used for small diameter cuts, anything less than 2 inches in diameter. Notice that the slot on this side of the block is indented. This keeps the pivot posts and the extension bars aligned. Now, you can use this tool in 3 ways. Use the lower small scale for making small diameter cuts. You can use the scale on top to make large diameter cuts up to 12 inches in diameter. And you can add extensions to make cuts up to 5 feet in diameter. As you can see from the samples on our workbench, the tool works with almost any gasket material you can imagine, up to 3/4 inches thick. In any case, the first thing you do is to adjust the blade to the correct cutting depth. This is the material I'll use for this demonstration. I'll start by loosening these 2 screws and extend the blade so it just cuts through the depth of the material, but I'll make sure it'll cut too deep. If you're cutting post according to the diameter of the piece you're trying to make. When you use a lower scale for diameters up to 2 inches, use the pivot post with the built-in pin. For cuts from 2 to 12 inches, use the pivot post with the thicker head. Whenever you use an extension, or for cuts beyond 12 inches, you use this pivot post with the thinner head to accommodate the extensions. Which one you select depends on how you plan to use the tool. The pivot post with the thick head is used with the top scale on the block for cuts up to 12 inches in diameter. Let's start with that one.
Hold the tool with the scale facing you and slip the post through the slot. The rounded end goes toward the zero end of the scale. Slip the washer on the back and attach the thumb screw. The top of the post has a guide that is used to measure the size of the cut. Let's make a 6-inch diameter cut. Loosen the thumb screw a bit, line the guide up with the 6, and hand tighten. Before you start, locate the center of the hole. So you take the piercing tool and make a small pilot hole. The hole doesn't have to be too big. If you make the hole too big or you make it oblong, you'll end up cutting a lopsided hole. Now you need the center pin. And there are 2 center pins, depending on the thickness of the material. Usually you'll only need this shorter one. Put the center pin through the pilot hole you just made. Now let's get the cutting board. Notice the 2 guides called center pin ferrules. One is in the center and one in the corner. You use the center for small radius cuts, like the one we'll be making. And you use the corner for larger radius cuts. So, we take the center pin and position it in the ferrule. And we're ready to go. Take the cutting block. You'll notice the hole in the pivot post here next to the guide. Carefully place that over the center pin. To make the cut, you simply rotate the block clockwise, keeping pressure on the surface till you've completed the cut. You always cut the outside diameter first. You can see that if you have a clean pilot hole, you'll get a smooth, even cut. But if you have a sloppy pilot hole, then you'll have an oblong cut. Now, let's readjust the block to cut a 2-inch ID in this piece. Loosen the thumb screw and position the guide to 2 inches and tighten the thumb screw. We already have the pilot hole, so we'll put the block over the pin and make the cut as before. The result is a 2-inch, 150-pound flange gasket. Now, let me show you how to use the gasket cutter to make those smaller holes, such as bolt holes. For this, select the pivot post with the offset pin. Place it in the slot on the tool, with the pin oriented closest to the blade. Not away from it, but towards the blade. If you put this in backwards, the measurements on the scale won't be accurate. Replace the washer. Now, position the pivot post using the smaller scale. Let's make a 5/8-inch bolt hole. Align the pivot to the 5/8 mark on the lower scale and hand tighten. When you use the smaller scale on the tool, you use the cutting knob. It makes it easier to hold your work. I'll use the old flange gasket as a template to locate the bolt holes. After that, the procedure is basically the same. You make a pilot in the center of the bolt hole. But with the smaller holes, you use the pin on the thumb screw as the guide pin. Put the pin through the pilot hole. Press it into the center of the cutting knob. Then you rotate the cutting knob to make the cut. Many maintenance professionals find it faster to use punches to cut small holes such as these. You use the primary pivot post for all the cuts along this scale. But for cuts bigger than 12 inches OD, we'll use the extending bars and the extension pivot post. That's the one with the thin head. Look at the extension bars. The flat extension bar with 3 holes in it is the single extension. And this one, with flush-mounted bolt, the positioning stud, and the 2 holes, is used when you add additional extensions.
Each one adds 12 inches to the cut. So if you use the single extension, you add 12 inches. If you use the single and the compound extension together, you add 24 inches. And if you add another extension, you add another 12 inches, up to 60 inches. The single extension always goes on the main block first. The end with the single hole goes in the groove. Then put the pivot post through the extension. Put the washer and the thumb screw back on. To get the adjustment for your cut, use the large scale, just as you did before. But this time, add 12 inches for each extension you've got on the tool. Here we've got a single extension. That's 12 inches. So using 2 on the scale would be a 14-inch OD cut. Using 3 on the scale equals 15-inch OD, and so on. I'll set the guide to 10 on the scale, which gives me 22 inches OD. The rest is the same. Make a center hole, put the pin in your material. You put in the centering pin, and then put it in the ferrule. But this time, we'll use the ferrule in the corner of the board. When you put the tool on the pin, use the outside hole. Always use the outside hole. The inside hole is only for the compound extensions. Now we'll make the cut. When using the corner ferrule, rotate the material counterclockwise as you make your cuts. There we go. The next step is to reset the scale to cut the inside diameter. When using the corner ferrule, rotate the material counterclockwise as you make your cuts. And here's a flange gasket for a 14-inch pipe. Let's add another 12 inches by putting on a second extension bar. Take the extension and put the flush-mounted bolt through the outside hole. The positioning stud sets into the other hole. Tighten the extension using the thumb screw with the narrow threads. Done. Both thumb screws have to be facing the same way, or this one gets in the way of the blade. Two extensions add 24 inches to the cut. So 2 on the scale makes a 26-inch cut. 3 on the scale would be 27 inches OD, and so on. The process is the same, even when making a large diameter cut like this. The first step is to locate your pilot hole. Make sure you have enough material around the edges to make a complete cut without running off the edge. Next, place your pin in the pilot hole and secure it. Now you can make your cut. Always remember, use the outside hole on the extension. Just like before, cut the outside diameter first. Now, I'll reset the cutting block for the inner diameter. After removing one of the extension bars, now we'll make the ID cut. It's that easy to make even the largest gaskets with the Allpax compass style cutter. With our system, you'll be equipped to quickly fabricate the right size gasket for almost any job at hand. You can visit us on the web at www.alpexcorp.com. Thanks for watching.
Right, any questions? Any questions at all?
I like that too.
You like that tool? Well, we have one just like that. Well, like the gasket cutter we have in NASC. Just like that. Right? So, I have video, profile video. But we don't have to get them, we don't have to cut such a large diameter, you know, but at the same time, you have an idea how to use it.
Mr. Kado, so that is the cutter we will be using in the practical. To cut the gasket.
Yeah, a cutter like that one.
Okay.
Right? Well, at least that's what we have in the fabricating shop. Right? But you see, the practical might be divided in terms of why Mr. James teaching one group valve servicing, I'll be teaching the next group how to lay out the gasket and stuff like that. So that is the cutter you will be using. Right? Now, here we're going on with time. We wouldn't get into the bonnet and lapping and thing. Probably we'll have to take about an hour Saturday night. I'll finish off with bolts, right? With this last thing with bolts, right? Because you see the video on the practical, the video is about an hour long. So if we go to finish off everything and still run an hour, we might run into about 8 o'clock. After 8.
Right.
All you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, we understand. It'll be longer, yeah. Too long.
Yeah, it will be too long, right? So we could just end up on the boat on Saturday night, 7 o'clock, or all you wanna, Saturday or Sunday. What day all you want? Make up all your mind. So Saturday, 7 o'clock, we could run till about, we might finish around 8, quarter past 8.
Alright, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? So we go have one more session. Right? Because I really want to rush everything, plenty things. I really want to rush everything. But as I say, all you'll be getting the presentation. I don't know if all you receive it as yet. So all you could always put in the link and you'll always put in the link and look, watch over the video and you know. Before I saw this video based on the gasket cutter, when I saw this video and I started to look at the video, I realized that there's a plenty thing about this cutter, because a student was asking me, so with this little knob thing by me, that's just an additional thing in the kit, right? But when you look at the presentation, the practical presentation, now I know what the knob is for. Before I could just use the cutter and we make gasket with the cutter, but in terms of the little adjustments with the knobs and things to make small cuts, we didn't really know that. Right? I didn't have a clue on what that knob was for until I saw the practical, the video based on the use of the cutter. Right? Now, going along, we mentioned this before. This is just the number of bolt hole and how you get the degree, right? So 360 divided by whatever the number of holes will give you how much degree it's space, right? Everybody understand that part? Any question based on? Right. So we're looking at flange bolts now. So the author here is mentioning that there are two basic type of bolts used in making flange connection, right? We have the first one, which is machine bolts, which use one nut, right? So we have one nut here. When we mean one nut, one removable nut, and one stationary nut, right? And then we have the stud, right? Stud bolt, which use two nuts. The stud bolt is more commonly used. The two nuts are removable with the stud bolts, right? With the machine bolt, we consider it have one nut because only this one can cover this in the head, right? And that's the difference with the bolt. I know certain things, certain times I pass along the road and you look at some of the WhatsApp connection, you realize that some of the connection is machine type bolts, right? But industrial standard, the majority of connection we use are stud bolts, right? Yes, somebody is going to ask something. All right. So flange bolt tightening. So once you tighten, you're about to make up, in the process of making up a flange now. They say the flange place must fit, or it must first be aligned properly, right? So you want it as much as possible. These two flanges you're making up. Whether you put in a valve on a flange, the face must be aligned properly. Like the first step you're doing. Next step, before inserting the stud bolts, apply lubricant. Right? Why you apply lubricant? Anybody? Help me. Why you think you apply lubricant on the bolts and then? Silence. My internet working?
You want to make tightening it easier if you have to make any fine adjustments, something.
All right, is the answer. Anybody else? Is that a good answer? Anybody else? Why you put lubricant?
Is that any time you do use any lubrication? Or you have to?
All right, let me tell you the purpose of lubrication now. The main purpose of the lubrication is to provide an easy means of breaking the bolt. Right? Now, what has happened if the bolt don't have lubrication? After a while, dust. Hello? Right. After a while, dust and whatever grime will build up on the threads, right? After a while, the threads might start to rust. But with the lubrication now, it forms a barrier against the weather, and it forms an easy mean now, even though dust stick on it. When you go back maybe a year or two after and you're breaking a bolt, you're going to realize it backing out easier. When the bolt don't have no lubrication, after a while that bolt just come and bind, and it'll be hard to break or to open, to untighten, right? So the lubrication is just a means of protecting the threads and giving you an easy way to break, to unslacken, to loosen whatever component you have, whether it be flange to flange or valve, right?
Yeah,
Now you get the picture?
Yeah, well, when my next week can I mean, yeah, well, you're correct what you're saying, right? But sometimes, like instead of for dust something that will cause corrosion, I think on the bolt. Sometimes, like I saw them at time you was going to fix a wasa spool, and well, them is order bolts. So when I'm order bolts now, the bolts come painted, coated in a sort of paint now. You understand? So the rust and thing would not affect it for like a long period of time. But it's correct what you're saying and all. Yeah.
All right, man. Right? So they say now, when you install the bolt now, you install your bolt and you hand tighten them evenly. Right? When we mean evenly, they say to the end of the, once is the correct length bolts. supposed to be 2 to 3 thread when you make up the full knot, extending beyond the knot on either side, 2 to 3 thread on either side. So you try to put it balanced, right? And next thing you should be aware of too is that with these industrial bowls, they have a number stamp on them, right? You might see L something, and the L is really for low, that is like low temperature bowls, right? B3, it have a number stamp on them. When you're placing these stud bowls on a flange, right? Say like you have a flange facing towards you and the next end of the flange probably facing outside by a railing where you cannot see. The correct procedure for you to do is to place the number facing to the platform, where when they're making the inspection, they could walk and they could see the number on the stud, right? Now, if you don't place it like that, most of the time, what has happened when you're doing punch lists, like you now finish a plant and you had to commission the plant, so they will send out punch lists before you commission the plant, right? That is to make sure that everything the engineer called for is in place. You might realize on the punch list, they say turn around the bolts, right? And what that means just slack down the bolts and you turn them. They might say, well, turn bolt and they give you turn bolt at 3 o'clock, right? Turn bolt at 2 o'clock, right? They might get an idea which part to locate that bolt, which one has to turn, right? Because the number not facing them. Now, once that number not facing the inspector or the person walking down the plant, that bolt is considered a wrong bolt, because they're not sure. Now, you might turn it around without the knowledge that, hey, they really want to see the number stamp on the bolt head. And when you turn it around, it's the wrong bolt. But remember, you don't have that knowledge. So you might just turn it around for the number to face, and then after it come back up on a punch list, right, that you have to change the bolt. So they will say put in if it's a B13 or a B7 bolt, right? And the nut itself, the nut have a number stamp on them too, and you must always put that number to the outside, right? Don't put a number against the flange. They want to see the number on the nut too, right? So the nut and the bolt, the number has to be what the engineer called for, right? Because as the fabricator, we don't really know what temperature passing through the line. Remember, our job is just to more or less install, erect, assemble, put it together, right? That is our job, right? But the engineer now is to know, depending on the temperature now, we use this type of bolt. Depending on the temperature, we use this type of knot. And so how it goes. So everybody have the part to play. So once we install the bolt finger tight, we then tighten using a wrench and we're using the crisscross pattern, right? We tighten opposite each other. So if you pull one at 3 o'clock, and we say 3 o'clock, you're going and you're pulling the next one at 9 o'clock, right? If you pull the one at 12 o'clock, you're pulling one at 6 o'clock. And that's the crisscross pattern you're going, right? Last thing before we close, we're looking at ring size. And the first place I saw was asking this question was Joe Khan, when Joe Khan used to be in the heydays, when they had plenty work, right? When you go to do a test in Joe Khan started the test hard. It was the first company I know was giving a hard test, right? Now, I never worked Joe Khan, but fellas came back and Carol, we getting trouble with this boy. Is that a formula for both sides? I say, yeah. Say, oh, we know that, right? Well, I mean both sides to determine the size of wrench now, right? So the formula goes like, whatever the diameter at the stud, right? You measure the diameter of the stud, you multiply by 1.5. It's something similar to a long radius flange, right? To a long radius elbow, right? So wherever the diameter of the stud is, you multiply by 1.5. And then after you add in 1/8 to that. And that will give you the length, that will give you the size and the range to use for that stud, right? So for in the example here, we have a 1 inch, right? So a 1 inch is a sort of easy number to work with because 1 multiplied by 1.5 is 1.5. But when you add an 8 to that, remember half inch is really an inch and 4/8 you have. So when you add 1/8 to 4/8, you're getting 5/8. So you're having an inch and 5/8 range you have to use for a 1 inch stud. All you understand it? It's easy? It's all easy?
Mr. Carter, go one more time?
No.
Right. Now, look at it here. So we have some here. They're saying here, this is your stud size, right? Meaning the diameter of your stud, right? But the formula stating that if you have to work out the rim size, is 1.5 multiplied by whatever diameter a stud you have, and then after when you get your answer, you add an 8 to your answer, right? So, for example, we had the 1 inch, right? So if we know is 1 inch, 1 inch multiplied by 1.5, we will get 1.5. And when we add 1/8 to that, we get an inch and 5/8. So the size, as we just said on here, will be an inch and 5/8. Once the stud diameter is 1 inch, you're using an inch and 5/8 wrench on it. It's easy, right? Yeah?
I now understand.
You know, understand, right? Now we could look at like at any one of these here, right? So let me break it down real easy for you. If we look at a 3/4, right? A 3/4. The rim size we supposed to get is 1.25 inches, right? But we go work it out. So listen, and if we don't want to multiply, right? We could just add right through. So we have 3/4, right? So if I write 3/4, if we we go leave it in quarter, right? So we have 3/4, right? And 3/4, let me convert it. 3/4 is really 6/8. How we know 3/4 is 6/8? You multiply, you want the 4 to turn an 8, so you have to multiply it by 2. So once you make the 4 to an 8, you have to multiply the top by 2 also. So 3/4 is 6/8. It will be easier for we in that sense when we add them, right?
Okay.
6/8, right? So that 6/8 represent 1. You with me? That represent the full size. That represent 1. And what we have to do, we have to multiply that by 1.5. But we don't really bound to multiply that. We could just add whatever half a 6/8 is, right? So if we add in half a 6/8 to 6/8, you're adding 3/8. You with myself? Half a 6/8 is 3/8, right? Yeah. And then after you come now and you add 1/8 to that. So when you're really adding, remember 8 staying the same. So you're adding 6 and 3 is 9, and 1 is 10. So you're getting 10 over 8, right? But that's what we call a mix, that's an improper fraction. So we added to that. Right. We had to turn that to a mixed number. So we saying 10 divided by 8 is 1, and the remainder will be 2 over 8. 2 over 8 is really a quarter.
Okay.
So you see how you work it out?
Yeah, it's much easier. The way you explain it, that's much
Right.
easier.
So, some people don't like the multiplication. So what I tell them, whatever the third size, that come as 1. Right? So in this case, 3/4 represent 1. And half a 3/4 is really 3/8. That represent the half. And then after you add the 8 to that, and you're coming back straight to your ring size. Right? So with this note, I'll close on this note. When we dial in Saturday night, 7 o'clock, right? Everybody with me? 7 o'clock. So that means about
Mr. Carter, I have an earlier time.
Hello?
Does it have an earlier time?
No, you wanted to be earlier than 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Anyway, 6:30.
Saturday Sabbath.
Yeah, Mr. Ahmad. So normally
Oh,
start
what I
wherever
said, sorry, I forget, sorry.
wherever class, I don't really like to start it at 7 o'clock, man.
Okay, no problem. It really slipped my mind, sorry.
So we go run down about 7, say about 8:15 for the most I feel we might take. Right? If everybody dialing by 7 o'clock, by 8:15, we complete the class. Right?
Okay. Mr.
Yeah? I listen.
You wouldn't be able to say when
the
practical will be. Exactly.
No, we can't say as yet. But it will be soon because from next week we more or less have to return to work. But it will be on we will be on a kind of rotation base. Right?
Okay.
We don't have to stay on work whole day. Right? Because we have companies we could go and visit. Right? When we could do things stay at home and do certain things. They don't want too much people in the office together.
Okay, no problem.
I might have to go like 2 days next week. It's not a problem for me. Right?
I know that.
So with this, we'll close on this note. I hope the class today was enlightening.
Very.
Very. I appreciate it. And I hope that it will aid you all in terms with the practical a lot. As I say, certain things you probably didn't know in the past, you now know it. And thank God for technology that certain tools we use, we could always dial up and see the correct way to use the tools and the proper handling of the tools. Right? So if no questions, any questions from anyone?
You just like to get the presentation, please and thanks.
The presentation.
We can kind of go through.
Right.
Yes,
so
we can go through it.
Right. So I'll ask Kiza to send you all the presentation. Right?
Thank you very much.
So if there's no questions, I'll see you all Saturday night. Saturday.
Mr. Kado.
Yes.
Yeah. One thing. How was the results of the presentation? Who I'll get any feedback as to how we perform?
I don't know. But I send we are supposed to send in the marks to Kiza. So if there's anybody to give you any feedback based on that,
yeah,
it should be Kiza.
All right then. All right, thanks.
But everybody was good. Everybody was real good. Miss Bessie was good, and everybody impressed me. Everybody was good. And Mr. McKenzie, Mr. McKenzie have a real announcer voice. I listen to myself on some of these things. Wait, I don't have a voice for this.